Good day, everyone. Here is my barn find 1979 Honda GL 1000 Goldwing. Picked this up. It was sitting in a barn or garage for 31 years. Look at the last inspection here. It was done in 1989 here in Nova Scotia. The plate on the back says 91, so it's been sitting a long time. So when I found it, it was basically disassembled, just a pile of parts, and it was kind of a challenge to put it together. It has an original set of miles here. It says 20,914. The owner, the person I bought this off of, is the son of the original owner. The original owner is no longer able to ride, so he parked it and let it sit. Unfortunately, sitting doesn't do much good for motorcycles. The original exhaust rotted away, and unfortunately I had to go with rather loud sounding aftermarket exhaust. Not a big fan of that. I would love to have the original, but I found for this particular year motorcycle, it's kind of hard to find any original parts for it. So that brings me to some of the things that I've had to fix on this. Notice the fender is black. Originally it's chrome. The chrome had all pitted away. So instead of spending a lot of money either sourcing out a new fender or having it re-chromed, I simply stripped it down and painted it black. Yes, that is rattle can black. The other things that were no good on this motorcycle was the master cylinder in the front here was completely plugged and rotted out. I probably could have rebuilt it. However, I did find this one online for, believe it or not, $30 delivered to my door, and that came with everything. Came with the brake lever, master cylinder, not the hose, that's original. And you know, I know it's kind of a risk sometimes, but it worked perfectly. It fit nicely. The electrical connection over on the side here plugged directly into it, and it worked perfectly. If you have a motorcycle like this and you just leave a comment, and I'll try to respond to it, and I'll post the link to where I got it just off Amazon. Also, I had to replace the rear master cylinder, and that was also a Chinese knockoff. You can't really see it in here. Oh, there it is. Yeah, down in there. It took a little bit of modifications to get it to work, but once again, it was $20 delivered to my door, and in the end, it did work. I put brand new brakes, front and rear, all new pads. The stopping power of this motorcycle is a little underwhelming, I have to admit. One of the big jobs I had to do was the carburetors. As you can see, we have a 4 bank of carburetors in there. I used to think that must be really difficult to get them out of there, but after putting them in and taking them out about 10 different times, I'm pretty good at it. There was a rebuild kit online for about $100. Did that, runs fine now. But I certainly learned a lot fiddling with that. In the valve cover here, I reset the valves. That was pretty straightforward. One of the reasons I was drawn to this motorcycle, even though it was in fairly rough condition, you can see some of the condition of the tailpiece here. It's a little pitted. I didn't do anything with that, but I probably will eventually. I might just strip it down and paint it flat black or something. But what really drew me to this motorcycle was the side covers, the fake tank covers, the seat, the console, the gauges, the luggage rack were all in extremely good condition. It's kind of hard to, you know, if you have a ripped seat, you know, there's $400 or $500 to get that fixed. So I didn't want to go that route. Coming around here, the other big project that I had to do, you see this white wire coming out of here. That is a brand new Dynatech ignition system. Highly recommend it. Originally I tried to get the old points to work. The condenser was dead. I sourced out a condenser online for $20. Yeah, then I found that the points were shorting out, so you know, I could have bought new points. It probably would have cost me anywhere from $60 to $100, so I didn't bother. A brand new electronic ignition was $225. Honestly, I don't know why anybody wouldn't do that. It saves a lot of hassle. Yeah, it's a little bit of work getting it, setting the timing on it, but you know, once you've done it, it's actually not that hard. Once again, here are the exhaust pipes on it. In a minute I'll give it start up and you can give it a listen. Once again, I would really like to have the original, but it's probably not going to happen. Some of the more difficult tasks were getting the fuel tank installed. That was pretty difficult. These Goldwings are very well engineered and they don't leave a lot of space. So you'll notice up in the instrument cluster here, the tachometer is gone. It didn't work. I kind of wish now I had just left it in place, and I might put it back in place. And this is going to be, this is the new electronic ignition. I haven't wired it yet, but that'll be done shortly. Another modification right down here, you'll notice there's a switch right here, and what that is, it controls the fan. I replaced the sensor that screws right into the cooling system. I don't trust it. I haven't gotten it to work yet, so what I did was I just installed a switch in its place. Give it a listen. I don't know if you can hear it. Checking online, this is a very common modification that people do. They'll put that in to, you know, just sort of give them peace of mind instead of relying on the electronic switch to work. So let's give it a start. There we go. Like I said, it's not the quietest thing. I would prefer original exhaust, but seems to run pretty good. It's got a bit of a throaty feel to it. Kind of a Goldwing with a bit of a sporty sound to it. Let's see, some of the other things I did to it or going to do to it. It's probably going to need heavy duty fork springs. This thing is about as spongy and as you can possibly get. There may be some upgrades to the braking system as well if I keep it. Once again, who knows? It's a barn find. So cost wise, well, I paid $500 for this motorcycle. Some of you might say, wow, that's a pretty good deal for this motorcycle. It's about $1,800 now. So when you start adding up the exhaust, the braking system, the electronic ignition, the tachometer, just fixing all the little things around it, a whole list of new parts that I bought, it does add up. You know, $100 for the carburetors to get them working properly. So I guess the moral of the story here is there's no real such thing as I mean, you might find a $500 motorcycle that requires absolutely nothing, but I'd say that's pretty hard. It can be difficult to find something like that. So anyway, if you have a 1979 Honda GL1000, I'd like to hear from you. If you need any help, or if you want any advice, send me an email. I will help you as best I can, or at least share some of the experience that I had with this particular survivor from the 1970s. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.